women
Yes.
cap on the internet and say it is a deal breaker. Too many women stay when that man cheat. She be mad, she cry, she do, because see, when you doing all them theatrics, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, no way. That's why you doing the theatrics. Because if you was really leaving, you would go. Wouldn't be no theatrics, but it's theatrics. So women be getting on here capping too about we leaving if he cheat. No, they're not. Most
True.
women aren't going nowhere because only a toxic female want to hit you as a form of arguing with you and also as an aphrodisiac. She needs to be hit and be in conflict with her man. She get hot off of that. She get a thrill off of that. She get all of this other stuff off of that. It's not just the argument, it's the energy that she get from that. And that's a turn on to her. A man that'll jack her up, a man that'll, you know what I'm saying, get her by a collar and she like that. She don't want it to go too far where she getting busted lips and eyes, but she don't mind if he do a couple of kibbity paps because she gonna give him sex after that.
Last week on Ladies First.
I will say this. Hey, CEO. My opinion. We go to Thomas and bring the ladies up. I think most men will never leave that woman for that, and I'm gonna explain why. Most men are not leaving that woman for cheating with other men. If you actually think about it, on the internet is a rah rah rah. I will never be with my woman if she cheated on me. I would never be with a single mother of two. Men are cuffing single mothers. Men are staying on relationships where they get cheated on unless like it's not something public. Men come to these panels every day. Nobody snitches. Like nobody. Your woman ever put your hands on you? Like you have 70 bodies. You brag about have 100 bodies. No woman cheated on you ever. I think men, for the most, if it's not something public, even with other men, if there's a mortgage and a house and some kids, I think most men even forgive cheating when it comes to other men, let alone woman. I think it's a very small percentage of men that is leaving.
Who
I
are
don't.
those men?
Huh?
Who are those men that's forgiving women for cheating on them?
They are all around you, brother. We just don't say it in public. Cause I've been on this place for 3 years. I know one that said that, but it's a little bit goofy. Hey,
Now
Crimson,
you saying there's men out there who's in a relationship with a woman
and they
getting
stay.
and
No, no, no.
they're getting cheated on,
So no. So
right?
listen to me, right? Hey, Crimson. Crimson is an OG. How many times, Crimson, have you heard men that are actually figures on this space saying, "My woman cheated on me, and I left or stay"? Like just the act of cheating alone. How many times have you heard men come in and actually discuss the fact that my woman cheated on me and I did X?
Most of the time, the going rhetoric is they're not going to stay if the woman cheat with a
Yes.
man. But if you think about, and I'm glad you asked this because it can't be two ways. If you think about the other things that are said, the other stats that are brought up about how women cheat just as much as men do,
Exactly.
then there are women by logic who are cheating on men. And if that is private, nobody knows about it, he can't be embarrassed by this publicly, men will stay or they will take that woman back at some point. So it's not 100% that the men will always leave a woman the first time she step out with another dude. It's done. Some men will, because I think men in general have less of a tolerance for the cheating than women do. But still, especially if you married, kids, this, that, he might try to get at another chance. Like maybe we don't have to break our marriage up. Maybe we don't have to, not do it, or however he worked through it is a different conversation. But upping and leaving real quick, no.
because Crimson Kirk, he's
At first, I was going to say this is the blue side, the blue pill side of Fatty talking. But then again, if you just simply think about it, it is true, right? It is true that I wouldn't say most men. I will not go as far as to say most men. That's where I would say that's the blue pill side of him, because this is what a lot of people, like some of my homeboys, will try to say that, oh, well, man, shoot, hey, everybody girl cheating on them, bro. So you just need to find the right girl. Like, no, like, what type of mess is that? What type of mess is that? So it's almost like you're just ushering in your woman being able to sit here and take in as much night pose as she want, and that's just not like what type of society are we living in, right? Now we're trying to normalize women cheating on their men. Oh, so do you think you should be normalizing men cheating on their women? No, I don't think that either, right? Now, of course, there's going to be differences when it comes down to a man cheating and when it comes down to a woman cheating, right? But that's not the whole point of the video. The point is, most of you men are not going to sit here and allow the woman to cheat and then take them back. However, if you think about it, there are some men who will sit here and not say anything about the woman cheating, right? They will address the woman, they will have those arguments, but they're not going to make it known. They're not going to make it public. I know firsthand with my homeboy back in college. He's dating this chick, right? I talk about him all the time on the channel, but he was dating this chick, right? And at one point, she cheated on this guy. There was a time where she manipulated this guy into fighting me. And I'm like, brother, like, what do you really allow her to manipulate you like that? Right now, I told my uncle about the situation when that was the first incident that we ever had between us three. So, of course, I tell my uncle. I ended up telling my uncle, and of course, I had to let him know. Because I'm like, dang, bro, like, can you believe this is what he did right now? Of course, we got to tell the uncle because he's the one who technically raised us in the sense of teaching us how we should be when it comes down to hanging out with women, how we should approach women. He taught us about women, right? So when I'm sitting here seeing my homeboy pick a woman over his homeboy, it's just mighty wild, right? It's just mighty wild. And then the fact that she manipulated you into the situation is ridiculous. Fast forward a couple of months later while we're still in college, they end up breaking up. He tells me she cheats on him. I'm like, dang. Okay, well, good thing y'all done, right? Especially after what she just did, y'all are done. That's good. That's great. Fast forward, school is over with, right? School is over with. We are all back home during the summer. So now we're chilling. He tells me that they done got back together. So I'm sitting here like, bro, didn't she cheat on you though? Did she not cheat on you? And what was his response, people? What was his response? Because this is what, to some degree, they're kind of, what they're kind of hinting at, that something that a lot of men would do. Hey, well, I cheated on her as well. So, dog, you making excuses now? You making excuses? Oh, well, I cheated on her as well. Brother, she's not going to have that same respect for you that she once had, right? The fact that she sat over here and found another guy to deal with, and you are now taking it back. Come on, bro. Right? But once again, the excuse, hey, well, I cheated as well. But see, the point is, right? The whole point is he did not tell anybody other than me, because of course I am his close friend. Of course I told my uncle, because once again, he pretty practically raised us up when it came down to these women, right? He taught us how women should act, how you should approach women, how you should be able to treat women, how women should be treating you. I mean, I'm just sitting over here like, bro, hold on. Like, this is wild. You just allowed your woman to cheat and you're going to take her back? But he doesn't tell anybody. He doesn't want to tell the uncle. So I could definitely understand that. But to sit here and say that most men will allow the woman to cheat and they will still stay in the relationship, I can't get with that. I can't get with that. But logically speaking, Miss Cure pretty much said that, well, statistically speaking, women cheat just as much as men. Right, so it would be, kind of be disingenuous to say that men aren't truly staying in relationships with women or excusing their girlfriends of cheating or their wives of cheating. Right, it would be kind of disingenuous to say that. But as I stated before, that's not saying how many guys and stayed with the women who cheated, right? But for the most part, I'm not going to disagree. So I think 2 points two points are true here. And I get it. You know, as we get older, you know, some of our standards, we are willing to compromise some of our standards just to get a certain woman. So if you saying, hey, well, if a woman has this amount of bodies, she might be, well, you might end up getting a woman that you truly like, that you truly love, that you really want to be with. You might excuse some of those bodies. You might excuse that. If this woman cheated, you might excuse that. Now, like I said, I don't think most men are going to do that. If you have some dignity, you will not do that.
Thinking about more than just her and her actions. He's looking at the bigger picture. How would this affect my kids? How does this affect our relationship, the dynamics? See, these are the things that men think about before they pull that string in those situations. But if a man cheats, her pride and ego is bruised so much, the kids,
women don't leave either. That's the other key thing. Women don't leave. Women cap on the internet and say it is a deal breaker. Too many women stay. When that man cheat, she be mad, she cry, because see, when you're doing all them theatrics, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, no way. That's why you're doing the theatrics. Because if you was really leaving, you would go. Wouldn't be no theatrics, but it's theatrics. So women be getting on here capping too about we leaving if he cheat. No, they're not. Most women aren't going nowhere.
Question, Thomas.
What's up?
So a woman putting their hands on you is not a deal breaker?
Fatty, it's like you trying to understand hood logic.
Hell no!
Oh, wait, no. Hey, we are not.
Hands me. I lift over the shoulder.
Iso. We are not going to do. Fatty doesn't understand Black Americans because he's European. That's not.
I'm not saying it like that.
That's not what we're going to do, Ty.
Thomas is literally speaking from hood logic. Like, I can understand everything he's saying. Being from Chicago, I get his mindset. I get men who think like him. Women who are abusive, even though we can see that can turn into a traumatic situation. Like, women have killed men because they were abusive, right? But he's not seeing it like that. He like, I know how to dodge her. I'm stronger than her. She can't hurt.
I'm from the mean streets of Lisbon. Why do you think I don't know that?
I don't know what the mean streets of Lisbon look like.
But there's
right.
You have to Google it. I'm from the south side of Lisbon, the 6th safest country on the planet. Hey, Thomas, is he right about this being more of an urban mentality, inner city mentality? Like, what makes you so comfortable dealing with the woman? And you know, when women put their hands on you, they want you to eat them back. I'm telling you. As soon as the woman puts her hands on you, because the woman wants to be the victim on something. If a woman is on an emotional state and she's putting her hands on you, she can wait for you to put her hands back on her so she can go to B and to Crimson and say, "Oh my God, you seriously need to be? Oh, I can't believe it."
Nah,
like,
that's not the hood joint. Nah, that's not my
experience. It'd be. And by the way, Crimson, after Thomas go, please, Crimson, we need help. So go ahead, Thomas. I tried to figure it out.
So they'll be like, "I hate you," and hit you, and you'll be like, "Girl, stop playing." And for some reason, that'll be like, "Ooh, I like the way you said that." To them, they'll be like, It'll be like, "Ooh," and then bam, 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 back to cool. But the ones that normally will take their significant other out, it's
Thomas.
Thomas got a point with that.
Right.
Can I hear me now?
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah.
The
Can you hear
one
me?
that partners out.
Yes. And Ty, stop egging on Thomas.
So
Ty.
I'm not egging him on.
Yeah, you do. You said, "Hey, Thomas, I know what you're talking about." You can't be doing that.
They just snipe you out while you sleep.
Suck you out while you sleep?
Nah, it's just, I don't know. Yo, they will. Nah, the ones that are less aggressive, that seem less aggressive, man, they done snuck their husbands out while they sleep. Yeah, the little passive ones. Yeah,
so
they're the ones you gotta watch.
So you're leaving? You're not leaving. You're not leaving.
Thomas sticking around for the makeup.
Bruh, my wife is from New Jersey. one of the
What does
roughest
that?
projects
Wait.
in New Jersey. And
Y'all
she's
are
one of
name
the
dropping
thor-
too
she's one
many
of the
cities.
thor-
No. What does that mean exactly?
She's one of the, but she's very thorough. It's just a different mode. You thorough, very loyal. You know they got.
Even the baby is saying no, don't do it, Thomas.
But I can deal with that because I dealt with the prissies. I dealt with the LA 8s and 9s, and one thing, and I have homies that dealt with them. They are sneaky. They're not loyal, and I'm just telling you, bruh, you get you a loyal person that knows what stays within those rules, that covers most of the core elements that matches what you want. You're not going to find 100% of everything in one person. So you got to take the good and you got to be able to take a little bad, because that bad don't override the good.
Thomas, there's very expensive cars. Don't you ever complain about somebody's crashing it. I'm not even joking. Hey, ladies.
I'll be mad about that.
Crimson doesn't have to answer this because I know her answer. Please answer this carefully, please. Just carefully. Allegedly, on a hypothetical world. Is DV a deal breaker for y'all? And I'm not saying the Lakers lost, so I'm going to put my hands on my family type of DV. I'm saying that you barking a little bit, then he barks back a little bit, and then you put the finger. You do the finger on the chest thing that you like to do. No, I already told you, right? Go ahead, Creeps.
If you're asking me personally, yes, DV is a deal breaker because I don't put my hands on men. Period. I'm not going to get you to a point where you're that upset that you feel like you need to put your hands on me because I can be talked to. We can talk because I listen. Because even if I'm upset at what we're talking about, even if it's an argument, I know how to shut up, even in the midst of an argument. It's just once it gets too far. But that's just me personally, because I don't like that tension. I don't like arguments. I don't like that energy. So I will bow out of an argument even if I think I'm right. And I'll just give it to you. And we can come back at it again if we need to. So I'm not going to keep going until you get so upset that you feel like the only way to shut it up or the only way to stop it from continuing is to put your hands on me some type of way. So if you put your hands on me, you wanted to put your hands on me, and I'm out because I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing in a place in my house where I'm not safe from you.
Do you think you are most woman or the minority, Crimson? I'm
probably the minority in terms of the way in which I handle conflict. I'm probably not the majority of women because I again, this the way that I operate. I don't like too much conflict. I don't like to argue. I don't get no enjoyment. The thing that Thomas is saying is hood logic, but hood logic is crazy. That's the other qualifier. Like, it is hood logic. He's not saying nothing wrong in terms of, like, he's not lying about it. It's just that the hood logic itself is crazy. And I ain't know Ty was from the crib. I'm from the crib too. I know you're from the crib. But
Crimson, Crimson, I need some translation, right? And I actually appreciate that y'all correct me in some things because sometimes I'm a foreigner and a nosy man, right?
Hold on, Fatty. I want to respond to Crimson.
It's just a question real quick.
I get what Legacy is saying, but as I stated before, rappers allow it all the time. Rappers will allow their wives to sleep around all of their time and they don't even have kids. Rappers will allow their girlfriends to cheat on them and they do not have kids. They do not care. A lot of rappers do not care. That's why I say, man, when you're talking about rappers, when you're talking about simps will sit here. What did I just tell y'all? My homeboy done sat here, allowed his girl to cheat. She done cheated on on him, and he made excuses and still stayed with her. I'm saying, guys, that's not something that you want to go through. That's not something that you want to go through. And some average men won't have kids with these women, but will still have built something and love the woman so much and it's so whipped that they won't allow the woman to leave. They will still say, hey, well, it is what it is. Babe, I just hate that you did that to me. I just hate that you did that to me. I couldn't do it, but hey, that's some guys for you. I just asked, as a man, do you stay if your wife cheats on you and you're the one that's taking care of everything? You're the one that's paying all the bills. You're the one that's making sure everything is straight. Because let's just say that dynamic is messed up, but because you want to stay in the relationship because of the kids, because here's the thing, right? The wife is, of course, still going to try to fix it, but also at the same time, she's still going to try to be cool with you, and she's still going to be expecting you to give her money. She's going to be expecting you to still provide her somewhat of a lifestyle. And there's still nothing, because let's just say you're tired of her, right? And you don't want to deal with her no more. That's fine, but there's nothing that's going to be stopping her from still asking you for money and still getting over here getting dug out by somebody else. Come on. That's why I asked, as a man, are you staying? All in the name of your children. And as far as a woman hitting you, smacking down on you and all that good stuff, I mean, here's the thing, right? I honestly think it depends, especially on the man, because I honestly believe, this is just me personally, a lot of us men stay in relationships with women who put hands on men, whether it's jokingly, whether it's actually like, dang, I'm mad at this guy, so I got to sit over here and scrap this dude. Once again, society will excuse women for putting hands on men. And that's just a fact, because you will have women saying, well, what did that man do to make her mad? Come to find out, oh, he cheated? Well, see, that's what happens when you cheat. But see, let the roles reverse. And if a man sits here and put hands on a woman, and the woman gonna ask, well, what happened? Well, she cheated. Well, the fact that this man even still put hands on her is just mighty wild. I get it, she's in the wrong, but you shouldn't even have done that. Right, you shouldn't even have done that. They will still make excuses for the woman's mistake. Well, not was mistake, but bad decisions. And like I said, I've been in relationships with plenty of women where they didn't hit me in the back of the head, smack me in the back of the head, whether it's playfully or whether it's something serious. I mean, this is why I say sometimes it depends, because some men are going to be tolerant. I would say most men are tolerant of it. Especially if they love you. Hey, some women, because that's sometimes, I mean, shoot, they know they can't do no damage to you, but hey, at least I can get some of my anger out by hitting this person. And that's personally for me, if you see that at the beginning of the relationship, that's a red flag. It's time for you to go, my brother. It's time for you to go, because it's only going to get worse. And then with Thomas Logic, I mean, he's dealing with some Pukishas, dealing with some masculine women that, once again, we will say stay away from. But you got guys who are like this, who are optimistic, who are open, who has an open mind, because they done dated all of these women, because I guess he has proximity to, your stereotypical ratchet women. Most men are not going for that. I'm sorry, brother, but most men do not want to deal with that. I can literally get to the same conclusion when it comes down to women that you did without having to deal with a woman who is masculine, without having to deal with a woman who puts hands on men. Like, what are you talking about? As I stated before, society will always excuse a woman for putting hands on a man, but if a man does the same thing to a woman for the same situation, they will accost that man. Let's continue.
Because I need to understand what's going on. And shout out to my boy Tio for the 20 memberships. I truly appreciate you, brother.
Because I've dealt with the hood all the way to the pretty damn near LA 8-9's prissy sedity. And everything in between, man. I ain't just been all hood, everything in between. I've dealt with everything in between. Women that will put some of these ones to shame, and I can show you I've dealt with everything in between. And I'm telling you, the ones that are prissy, soft, so cool tonight, they are the sneakiest ones that will destroy any type of parameters and foundations and standards that a man that stands on his principles would do. I'm not saying every single one of them, majority of them. I've seen it for my own eyes and I witnessed it. So I deal with everything in between. The hood logic keeps your senses aware. The hood logic keeps you safe. The hood logic, the street smarts keeps you safe out here. The hood logic keeps your head on a swivel. The hood logic keeps you from being bamboozled. So hood logic can be crazy to you, man, but hood logic has kept me safe from 18 to 38 because I know how to see, know how to spot, know how to move, and know how to move around, and I can look at intent, and I can see what a person's real intent is, and it don't take me 6 months to figure it out. That comes from me being in the streets.
So Crimson, my question was, is Hood Logic Thug Love? Because I know the Thug Love thing that y'all talk about, right? Is Hood Logic, again, it's a foreigner from Lisbon asking, please educate me. Like, what you are saying is that the same thing? Is that the same concepts or completely different concepts?
It's closely tied, if not the same thing, because what Thomas was saying in terms of she can't hurt me. You know what I'm saying? If she want to hit, I know how to handle her. That come from dealing with toxic because only a toxic female want to hit you as a form of arguing with you and also as an aphrodisiac. She needs to be hit and be in conflict with her man. She get hot off of that. She get a thrill off of that. She get all of this other stuff off of that. It's not just the argument, it's the energy that she get from that. And that's a turn on to her. A man that'll jack her up, a man that'll, you know what I'm saying, get her by a collar, and you know, she like that. She don't want it to go too far where she getting busted lips and eyes, but she don't mind if he do a couple of kibbity paps, because she gonna give him sex after that, because that's how she quote unquote gets tamed or calmed down. So that in and of itself, and this is why I say Hood Logic is crazy, because that in and of itself is crazy. That is toxic. There's nothing healthy about that. Women who aren't
I just would say let's replace.
CEO, before you go, I will say this right before you go. Ty was smirking while she was explaining that. Hey, Ty, I don't know if this gave you a flashback of something that happened before.
It did not give me a flashback.
But you were like, yeah, like,
because everything she's saying is true. It's true. It's just when you grow up in, you know, the quote unquote hood or in those type of areas, you know these people, you've seen those relationships. But the crazy thing is I actually agree with her when she said it's hood logic, but hood logic in itself is crazy. And I feel like Thomas proved it, because through our traumas and what we see being in environments where you have to grow up fast and you see things that you should never experience at young ages, it teaches us to be more cognizant of what's around us. It teaches us to shield ourselves. It teaches us to watch where we're going, to read people, because you naturally know you can't trust people around you. So even though it builds you and it helps you navigate the world, it's also traumatic, right? It's detrimental, especially to the youth, when you necessarily don't have to grow up like that. And it makes things that are not supposed to be normal become normal. So seeing people fight in the street, you know, a man and a woman, and he grabbing her up is not as much of like a, oh my God, for us, because you see that on a regular basis. You can even go as far as to say seeing someone shot or seeing someone pull out a gun and they get into an argument might not be as big of a shock for us as it would be for other people, because we've grown up in those environments. So it's not necessarily healthy, but because we've grown up in those environments, it does teach you how to live certain ways. Like, just for an example, I have a friend, I live in Maryville now, and I guess it's a safer area, but because I grew up in Chicago, I never leave anything unlocked. I got out of my friend's car and she was like, oh, I left my keys in the car. The keys were in the car, the doors were unlocked. And I was like, girl, don't you do that again in your life? You know, like, what's wrong with you?
But she's one of those women that go to the gas and leaves the car running.
No, it wasn't even running. She took the key out and just left it on the chair, left it on the seat, and came upstairs. I was mind blown, you know, but I'm just saying something as small as that. That's something I would never do because of where I grew up, and I know what could potentially happen. But it's just to say that environment, like Crimson was saying, is crazy. It's toxic. It's not the best environment, but it teaches you to be a survivor, right? Like Thomas was saying, it teaches you to have discernment early and to understand what's around you and how to move in different areas and navigate yourself.
Hey, where do you think you're going? You can watch the full show over here or our last video clip here. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.
I agree with Thomas where he is saying that, listen, a lot of your women who are innocent in today's time, they aren't so innocent. This is why I say by 95 to 98% of your women out here, I would just say 98% of your women here in America today are feminists. Now, some are worse than others, but a lot of them have feminist ideologies and, and they move like feminists. They dress appropriately in everything. But when you get to know them, once you start talking to them, or hell, if you go to their TikTok, you will see that they're like, you're like, okay, nah, this woman is not marriage material. This is not somebody, man, that is good for society, because with her having these ideas and rhetoric, it's just not it. And they will come off, sound like a mouse, all quiet. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, this, that, and the third. Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm a college major. I'm this and I'm that. Oh, well, I think this, I think that. I'm a very intellectual person. But then once again, as you get further and further down the conversation, you just like, that this person is not right in the head. This person is not right in the head whatsoever. I dated plenty of women who come off as nice, who come off as innocent, and they, now for these women, they have self-respect. But a lot of other women, they don't. And they will sit here and they will show and they will present themselves as somebody who is trustworthy. But then when you find out about them, you're like, man, this is not somebody that you want to marry. And to Crimson's point, she's saying, Thomas, you just want to deal with a bunch of masculine women. That's all you're talking about. You want to deal with masculine women and have women with a masculine mindset. Like I said, you don't have to sit here and go deal with the Pookeisha to understand that, hey, well, this woman over here is very feminine. Like, you don't have to. You can literally just visually see. When you see black guys date outside of their race, what do your sisters say? Why you dating outside your race? Why you doing this? Why you doing that? And what do black guys say? Not because, hey, I dated some sisters. Some brothers may say it, but there's a lot of brothers who would just visually see, who would just see sisters act a certain way and be repulsed by it and say, well, the reason I date outside my race and date these women is because these women here, this is what I'm seeing that I do not like. But you don't have to date that to understand it, right? And this is where discernment comes into play, because once again, this dude, if you saying that, hey, well, listen, I done dealt with the women all across the spectrum, right? Yeah, you had a few bottles bust across your head, got spat on a few times. Once again, that's not something that a man should have to go through. And you should know that before you even get into that relationship. But here's a guy, it sounds like he's attracted to Pookeishas. So he can never be a guy that complains about a baby mother if he did have one, right? I think he said he's married, so you don't have to worry about that. But for the most part, he will not be able to pretty much complain, because once again, you're attracted to Pookeishas. And I would go here on a limb and say that, who's to say that he's not married to a woman who puts hands on him, right? Because it sounds like he is very cool with dealing with women who don't mind smacking up some men, right? And like they were saying, you have women, right? You literally have a lot of sisters who, and I think there was like a trend at one point where sisters were saying they wanted hood guys, they wanted Pookies and Ray Rays. So once again, this is just a cycle that we just have to break, right? It's a cycle that we just have to break, truthfully. So y'all guys, let me know down below what y'all guys think. Do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Till the next one.